Here we go. Hopefully we are all live and working properly. Hopefully there is sound. Let's just make sure that everything is functioning properly. Looks like it is. All right. Everything looks good from my end. Hopefully it's good from your end there at home too. So, all right. Well, welcome to Canadian Starships live stream Saturday night. I'm just going to be hanging out, doing some work, keeping an eye on the chat, and so if anybody wants to ask a question, make a comment, I will be keeping an eye on that as closely as possible during this evening. Not too many people here yet, so we'll just kind of hang out and get some work done on the two Enterprise E's that are currently on the bench. All right, let's switch over to the bench cam. Here we go. All right, I've got the 1400 scale Enterprise E sitting here. The other one is just over there on the shelf. What I've done most recently is consolidated down the flashing lights on the bottom saucer. The flashers, which are on the outside of on the outboard of the two navs, there's a outboard white and then the red or the green inboard on each side. So the outboard flashing white nav is a different rate of speed than the other flashers on the ship. So they have to be on their own flasher circuit. I'll have to double check. They might be on with one other or two other lights on the ship. But there's two flashers going on here. So I got those consolidated down. Now they're not fully wired in. I've got them epoxied down here just to hold them in place. And it looks like I'm going to have to do a little bit more on that. What I'm hopefully going to do tonight is get those other 0402 SMDs that are there, the green, the red, and the white connected. Those are all constant on, so they're going to be on the same circuit. And I want to get those consolidated down to a single positive and negative and get those ready to go down the post so that we can get this thing closed up. All right, 5 people here so far, so if you're here, say hello in the chat. Let me know that you are here. All right. So the white flashers on either side. This is the positive. This is the negative. I really should have color coded. This a little bit better. I put the red and the black on. I will just label those, and that will be perfectly fine. So I think that's probably the first thing actually no, that's not the first thing I need to do because I need to get these main leads for these buttoned down before I feed them through the opening here and get the label on. So we're going to do that and get the other LEDs wired up. I am going to turn this around because I like to work on this way. That orientation works better for me. All right, 4 people here. 1 person decided to go. Hope you have a great evening. So if you're here, let me know, because I don't know you're here if you don't say anything. So, oh, I forgot my Spock mug tonight, but I've just got the tea going on here, and I'm already halfway through my cup of tea. Daryl Peters, hi Andrew, so glad I caught your live stream tonight. Do you make a? I've got a silly emote thing in the way here, and I have a hard time seeing the bottom corner of the bottom comment. Let me see if I can go here. Do you make a video every week? If not, would you consider? I tried doing the once a week video thing. I've got 2 young kids in the house, and they take up quite a bit of time. So especially over the Christmas season and holiday season, I haven't been able to get the weekly videos out. I would love to be able to do that, but it's also not going to fit the nature of what's on the bench coming up this year. So what I'm going to do is I've got many projects on the go that I'm going to have to work on. I've got the 2 Enterprise E's. I've got two 650 Enterprise Ds. I've got a 1400 scale Enterprise D, and then another one of these 1400 scale E's to do after all that's done, hopefully in time for Wonderfest. And each of those things needs its own build series. So instead of doing the what's on the bench that I was doing kind of every week, just what was going on the bench, I'm going to close that series up with these two Enterprise E's, hopefully get those out the door soon, because I am having to start working on the big Enterprise D projects, and those are going to require their own project videos on their own. And then the smaller Enterprise D I will also do build series on its own. So I will put out the videos that are ready to go out whenever they're ready to go out. So that's kind of the video schedule that's going to be happening for the next little while. I think it means that there's going to be more content, which is great, but because I'll have more than one project on the go. So as I have enough content to put a video out, I like to try to keep my videos as tight as possible. I don't like to just fill them with content just to have content to put out. So once there's enough for a full-length video, I'll put those out. So often I'm playing around with the format of the channel right now, trying to see how the lives go, what the video series is and video output's going to be like. Will you complete the 1000 scale, the 2-foot version? I will. It's currently on the shelf over behind the camera right now. It's not a priority right now because the client upgraded to the larger 650 scale Enterprise D, and so I will want to get that out the door before the 1000 gets done. Yeah, Enterprise D. So I will do my I will be completing it. That's just going to be a matter of when I have time to complete that. That is a brute of a kit, and the pylons are just a nightmare where they join the secondary hull. So there's a lot of work that has to be done on that. I was really glad actually that the client decided to upscale to the 650 class, 650 scale Enterprise D, because it just looks so much more well designed as a kit than that 1000 scale. But it will get completed. So, all right, let's work on getting the constant on navs consolidated down to single feeds so that we can work on getting this thing closed up. I do have, let's see, all right, I have the top saucer section here with all of its spaghetti, and let's see what I've got done here so far. So yeah, I've already done those. Which ones have I done? I have done the white flasher navs on the upper saucer, and those have been consolidated down to an orange. So I really should have done this down to an orange as well. But I will just label that and then connect those, and then it will go down to an orange down the post. That was just an oversight on my part. I like to do the color-coded wiring so that I can keep track of everything, but it's not the end of the world that I didn't get that done. So just looking to see what I still have to do on the top section here. So I need to connect the flasher behind the bridge, which is a separate, which is on the flasher circuit that the rest of the flashers are on the ship. Again, those side flashers are on their own. I've got the constant on navs to wire in, which will also include the light on the registry. Now, the registry light's not going to actually shine up the registry. That's difficult to do on this, and I do not do it with the Raytheon effect. I don't like the look of it. So we just forego that, but I do like to have that light source there because that light source deserves to be on the ship. So those are what I still have to connect up on the top part. And once those are all done, I can put the top saucer on, and I will have the space to consolidate everything together, top and bottom, through the opening here, and then I'll be able to run everything down the post. Get the final things on. I won't be putting the chiller grills on until after the ship is painted, I will mask those openings off with tape, and the grills will go on closer to the final on this project. All right. So let's get the solder on. There we go. The solder iron is on and warming up, and we'll get some work done on this. All right. So we are going to be connecting the 3 constant ons that are on the bottom saucer section. And the thing that's going to be important to do at the same time is wire management, because it gets very spaghetti-like very quickly with all of the different circuits going on. So I do need to do some lockdown of the wires for this circuit that I did the other day as well. So we're going to get the constant on soldered down to main leads, and we're going to get the wires secured in place so that they are secure and running nice and neat, so that we don't get anything pulling, anything coming undone on the project. All right. The constant ons are the inboard, the red over on the port side and the green on the starboard side. They already have been resistored appropriately, so we don't have to worry about that. We just have to run the power to them. And I use my curved, whatever these things are called. Just blanking at the moment, to grab the wires and run them where they need to go. So we're going to put this positive, and ooh, this one needs some shrink tube on it. So we're going to do that first. Let me get that sorted. I really need 2 screens so that I can see the chat better. Okay, we need various sizes of shrink tube. I need my scissors. I'm going to need my heat gun. Don't mind me while I get this stuff sorted here. And I'll get my heat gun in a place where I can easily access it here. It's just on a stool behind me. All right. 7 current viewers. Awesome. Let me know you're here by leaving a comment for me. So, because as far as I know, Darren Peters is the only one who's here right now. So let me know that you are here. Okay. Let me get the helping hands. That's the other thing I need. Now, I ran into this problem before, and it was just an oversight on my part. I should have shrink wrapped this item here before, and in case you can't see it on the camera here, this is the resistor on the end of the positive, and I should have put the shrink tube on it before I soldered it on permanently. Okay, that's going well. Let me move my T over here out of the way. I'm going to have to take this off the resistor to get the small section of shrink tube in there, because I'll need a small section of the smallest I have, which really is too big, but I will squeeze that down to cover it properly, and then I'll put a slightly bigger piece over the resistor itself. All right, and actually, looks like I'm going to have to do that on the negatives as well. I forgot to do that before. So let's get, I'm going to need my solder, which is over here. And I'm going to have to do the glasses on and off thing. Okay, glasses off. solder iron in hand, and we're just going to delicately remove that wire, putting as little heat on there as possible. All right. Going to get a small piece of the shrink tube. Put that on the wire. Make sure I double check that it's the correct one. Going to grab the solder iron. Put my glasses down. Get close. Reattach. I'm going to double check to make sure that's a good solder. Nope. Didn't think so. It soldered underneath and I couldn't really see it properly. So I like to double check. Okay, that looks like it's a good clean solder. Okay. Let's grab the shrink tube here. Sometimes it feels more like doing surgery than model building when I'm working on this stuff, especially with the tweezers. Tweezers! That's it, tweezers. I remembered. All right, let's get a piece of the slightly bigger shrink tube. Cut to the right size. Throw this over the resistor. Like so. And then we're going to get the heat gun out. Warm it up. You guys are quiet tonight. Not too much going on in the chat. Again, let me know you're here. I'm always curious to see who's watching. So, I mean, if you just want to watch and not comment, that's fine. I just find it interesting knowing who's here and having conversation while I work. It's one of the reasons why I like doing live streams. From time to time, I'll just pinch that off. Gives the opportunity to kind of have some conversation with people while I'm doing the work. I mean, model building really is an introvert's paradise as far as a hobby, because you don't have to interact with people. My day job involves a lot of interacting with people, so it's nice to have a side gig or a hobby that's not interacting with people face-to-face too much, but I do like interacting with people, so please feel free to interact. All right, there we go. Okay, let's check. So this is the positive for the white up here. The positives for these are already done. They're done in black. That's fine. Doesn't really matter. I usually keep positive red and negative black. But sometimes the black is a little bit more narrow for the shrink tube, and I do like using that. And it looks like I was able to get it over the entire one piece over the entire thing. So it's been a while since I wired these up. So forgive me if I'm not sure entirely what was going through my mind when I did these. Now I'm just going to run these so that I can easily secure them down, and I'm just looking for a good place to wire these up. And actually, maybe I will put them on top here next to the lighting for the windows, and I'll find a good way of securing those down. But I just want to make sure the wires are going where I will be able to keep them down. Send 8 friends your YouTube channel link. Awesome, thank you. I just looked today and I am 18,096 subscribers right now. Here, let me just go to the full screen version there. 18,096, so only like 4 subscribers away from 1,900, and then that's like 100 away from 2,000, which I think is pretty cool. So, yeah. So the more subscribers, the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. I never started doing videos on YouTube to be popular or anything like that, and I mean, it's definitely growing the channel is a slow burn, but I like the content creation side of things, and I like the model building side of things, and so if I'm going to do the model building, I might as well do the content creation at the same time. And the content creation really has given me skills that came in very handy at work during the pandemic. So I'm quite happy that I was able to make use of those skills, not just during my hobby time. Alright, so those are all physically connected together, and then we will permanently connect those together with some solder, and then we will put the wire on. So let me get my solder, let me get the solder iron. And it throws me off that the solder iron is on my left during live streams because I usually have it on my right for my dominant hand. Just double check what my temperature is set, because I've been having some flow issues with my solder, so I'm not quite sure if it's my iron temperature or if it is the this new container of solder I have right now. Again, I'm getting old. I need to get new glasses. So this is the lead-free rosin core solder. So I'm hoping that it's not the solder that I've been having some issues with. Let's see. What a spaghetti of wires, Andrew. How do you keep your sanity? Can you possibly list the materials you purchased for this project and the website you ordered from? Well, it's a hodgepodge, really. I've gotten the model kits from my quote-unquote local hobby shops. I have to go 2 hours to get to the closest hobby store because our hobby store here in our city closed down a few years ago. But I was grabbing these whenever they were coming in, and it's getting really hard to grab the 1400 scale Enterprise E's now in hobby stores. I think they're coming to the end of their the supply they had on this last release, so hopefully they'll repop it in the next little while. I have one more sitting on the shelf, which is the one I'm hoping going to make for Wonderfest. Wiring I get from Amazon, the 50/50 LED strips I get off Amazon, the 2020 LED strips I use for the chiller grills and the phaser fire effect. Those I get, the only place I can get them is AliExpress, and this is the phaser fire effect that's going in this. And that's being accomplished with 2020 LED strips. The smallest LED strips I can small size LEDs in an LED strip that I can possibly get, so that it is as high density or a high definition an effect as possible. Many times people just put the, let me grab the top saucer here. Many times people just put I need to go back to the bench here. There we go. Many times people just have maybe 12, 14 LEDs along this stretch. And so I just don't think it looks overly high definition. You can tell that it's just a few LEDs trying to make that effect. It's like when you have a cartoon that's made on the cheap and it's not very high frame rate, like the original animated Star Trek. So the original series' animated series, where it would be kind of like jittery because they wouldn't do a whole lot of animation. You kind of get that effect, but this has 75 LEDs in the LED strip that's in here. So it's nice and high definition, but the only place I can get those is AliExpress, and they are not inexpensive. Let's see, all the copper parts, the copper post I get from a place called Lee Valley. I don't know if there's any place like that outside of Canada. The copper bits I get from Home Depot or Canadian Tire. Well, again, Canadian Tire is a Canadian thing, just kind of like a hardware store. Yeah, the paints and stuff, my local hobby stores. And the most complicated thing is the programming for all of the lighting and wiring, which my programmer, Danny, in the Netherlands, does all of that work. And it's quite complicated to get all the effects working on one Arduino. So I have a professional who does that for me. And then perhaps you could have an overhead camera. Overhead camera like this one that I'm pointing at. Yeah, this is overhead, and you can kind of see the two cameras here at once. I did have it turned off there while I was talking, but we do have that there. And then I am in Oh, awesome, Calgary, nice. I've had lunch at the Montanas in the Calgary airport. The stores are familiar to me. Lol, yes, that's before I saw. Yeah, okay, awesome. Yeah, I had lunch in the Calgary airport, and I've been on the ground in Calgary several times, but I've never been outside of the airport. So I've been on the ground multiple times. I've just never been outside of the airport in Calgary. I had quite the approach coming into Calgary Airport one time where they did a slam dunk over the mountains. So they have to keep a high altitude, certain altitude over the mountains. And then usually they, coming from Victoria, so Victoria, Vancouver, keeping an altitude over the mountains. And then usually they'd overfly, turn around, and come back. But they did a slam dunk directly in. And it was one of the craziest descent and approaches I've been on an airplane. That was lots of fun. I like those though. All right, let's. Okay, that's good. Let's get some wire here. Let's get the red. Let's get my wire. Oh, I've got my wire cutters here already. Perfect. Okay. Talking about out west. So I've got two of those 650 Enterprise Ds to do. The first one that I'm doing is going to Belgium when it's done. And that's going to be a scary shipment. Sending something that you've put that much work into that far away. And we're not quite sure what method we're going to use yet. Why can't I find the end? There we go. If in doubt, get frustrated with it and it'll show up. All right. So it's going to Belgium, but the second one I'm doing is going to Chilliwack. So it'll be interesting to see how we get it out there, whether it gets shipped or whether it's actually more economical to drive it out. We'll have to see, or maybe the client wants to come drive across the country from Chilliwack to Kingston and pick it up. We'll have to see. But the prospect of transporting it within Canada is a lot easier in my mind than transporting it over the pond. Okay. All right. Sorry, I was just checking the chat because I've got an iPad, but the ship's in the way, so. All right, what am I doing? Solder. I'm going to tin the end of this. Yeah, it does not want to adhere very well for some reason. I might have to try a different type. All right. I'm going to grab a pin, but I'm going to grab, just seeing what I have here. I have some longer pins on the end of some shorter wires here from when I cut down the size of some wires. And since they're longer than the ones I have that I haven't used yet, might as well just use those. All right. If you're wondering, I'm putting small metal pins on the ends of my wires to assist me with testing them in the breadboard when I connect it up to the Arduino to do the circuit tests. All right. Okay, let's connect this up. Now, I'm not too fussy about the solder job on those pins because they're just temporary. The solder job I care about is when I connect this to the ship. And let me read this on the bigger screen here. If you're ever in Calgary, please let me know. Would be great to visit. Seems you like models. You will like to see them in model shop. Probably, yeah. If you have paste flux, yeah. I don't have any, and it's supposed to. This particular stuff's supposed to have rosin. Yeah, it should be fine. I've never had quite the issue with it. So shipping fragile to many countries. I only use FedEx. Their prices have dropped dramatically. Yeah, I'm not sure who I'm using yet. Ideally, I think the best way to get the model there safely would be a VIP delivery where I travel with it, and then if anything was to happen en route, then I would be there to fix it. But that wouldn't necessarily be the most economical delivery option. And so there's all sorts of considerations when it comes to the shipping of it. The benefit to the VIP delivery is, as I said, if anything was to happen to it en route, then I would have some tools and supplies with me to do any touch-ups or repairs on site. If you send it off and basically you put it in a crate, in a box, in a crate, and do your very best to package it, make sure it's got full insurance and all that kind of stuff, and pray it gets there in one piece. And yeah, that's once you send it off, that's pretty much all you can do. So I've got 3 resistors here. This I think is only big enough for 2, so we'll do. I might have a medium size here. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Do I have? Okay, this is this size, and this is this size, and I think I have a size in between, which I shall try. I don't want the shrink tube to be too big that I'm putting on, or it won't shrink down properly. So we'll give this piece Yeah, that's a little bit smaller because it fits inside. And we'll give that a go here. I just need a piece about that big. I just keep a tray of all the little bits and ends that I've taken some off, and so I go to my mixed bag tray there before I go to my fresh pieces. And I've made this wire very long, much longer than it's actually going to need to be. So I have to feed that all the way down there. All right. This should cover all of these. Should be able to get them in there. Yep. And that'll hold it together. And then the smaller one will actually protect the wiring. There we go. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer so I can lift it up a little bit for the heat gun. And now we heat gun. Wait for that to warm up. All right, there we go. If my Kilowatt client decided that they wanted a VIP delivery, it'd be a 3-day drive of getting the thing out there, but there's a few different places and a few people I'd like to stop and see if I was making the trip. That didn't cool off before it turned off. That's okay, I will just let it run again. The black pad with the flexi alligator clip. Did you make this? Looks very handy. No, again, that's another Amazon order. Essentially it's a metal plate, and these are all magnetic, which my desk is metal, so they could actually just go right on the desk if I didn't have the mat in place here. And then these are also magnetic. So if you needed to hold something in place there, what I use those for though is so I don't lose my solder. But yeah, that's just an Amazon purchase. I don't know if they're still available, but I thought it was nice and handy. All right, we've got that on there, and now we will do the same thing with the negatives. And I'm pretty sure that the negatives need, yeah, they need some shrink tubing here. And I've got to do I need to untwist this? I should probably untwist it. Though it could come in handy for wire maintenance if they were, but I'll undo them at least back to the tape that I have here. I just use a little bit of tape to hold these things down while I epoxy them. Otherwise they come undone. There we go. All right, here's one. Might as well start with the one that has presented itself. So I'll take it off of the resistor. I will put some, let me just make sure I've got my shrink tube here. Yeah, that's the size I need. Put the other stuff back in here so I don't lose it. Get a piece cut off. SDM Productions, hello. Well, hello to you too. Welcome to the stream. It is so nice to know when people are here. So thank you for saying hello in the chat. We are, well, I am working on the two 1400 scale Enterprise E's that I have on the bench, working on getting the last little bits of wiring consolidated down to main leads so that I can get the main saucer halves assembled permanently. Okay, where did that go? We are this one here. So let's get the shrink tube on. So I'm just doing this and keeping an eye on the chat and basically just hanging out while getting some work done. I'm assuming that some of you are probably at your benches or desks getting work done too. Let me know what projects you're working on. I'm always curious what people are working on. I'm going to put a little bit more solder on that. It's where it's supposed to be. Can't find it because I put it where it belonged. So often it's not where it's supposed to be, so I don't like that. I just set it down, not thinking, and then I won't be able to find it later. All right. Let's get this reattached. Okay, that's good to go. All right, bring this up. Let's see if it'll go over the end of the resistor a little bit. Okay, and I need the next size up, which is, I think this is it right here. Just going to double check. Yeah, that looks right. Cut a piece just to go over the resistor. Like so. And heat gun again. This is a lot of boring rinse and repeat. Not quite as boring rinse and repeat as, say, opening up Windows on the model. I'm currently in Window World on a 1400 scale D, and just working on that in between other work on projects. But it's Windows are coming along nicely on that, so it takes quite a bit of time. All the windows on this top saucer have been drilled. I'm now working on cleaning them up, making them nice and pretty. So there we go. Funny thing is I do have three clear Enterprise D kits sitting on the shelf, and I gave the client for that the option of whether they wanted to watch me build the clear kit or if they wanted to watch me build the OG opaque kit, and so they chose the classic opaque kit. So that's why I'm drilling out windows on that, which that'll take some time. Let's see, SDM Productions, I love watching your videos. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I enjoy creating them, and it's nice to know that if I'm creating them, at least somebody is watching them. So thank you for watching. Yeah, the channel, I'm kind of working on kind of figuring out what the best video live flow kind of a deal is right now, because I have a bunch of, okay. That's right, I replaced this LED, and I don't remember what resistor I had on it, because I want it to match the resistor on the top. Fortunately, I have That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. That should have been... That should have been a built-in resistor. I'm going to have to check that. What? That should have been a built-in resistor. So this is a quick problem-solving thing here that I need to take care of. What am I going to do? Let's see. Hi, Andrew. Joining from Surrey, BC. Okay, awesome. Let me see this in a place I can see it a little bit easier. Nice to listen while cleaning the floors. Currently working very slowly on the 1350 refit among a few 3D printed projects. Yeah, awesome. I've got 2 refits sitting on my shelf over there. I have never built one. Well, I've built a refit, but I've never built a 350 refit. So, very interesting. What I'm going to do here, because the resistor should have been on that LED. And I am now wondering if I replaced that with the wrong LED. So I'm going to have to take one of these apart and see what value resistor is attached, which means I'm going to have to sacrifice one of my LEDs. But I've got a large package of them, so it won't be a problem. But hopefully I didn't accidentally replace it with a white, and that's what I'm worried I did. So let me, although there is one off of here. Okay, you're going to see some live, real-time problem solving going on here. I was not expecting this, but it is what has come up and needs to be dealt with. So we're going to deal with it live, on camera. Yay! All right, let me get these extra LEDs put away first. Somehow I ended up with 2 of them here. Oh, one must have fallen off. Okay, this was a full package. One must have fallen off. Problem solving is great. I've learned. Oh, actually, let me just go up. Randy Welberg. Hi, Andrew, joining from... Oh, no, I already read that. Problem solving is great. I've learned a lot from your lighting demonstrations. Oh, great. Awesome. One of the things I love doing, or I love about this hobby and the online community component of the hobby, is that there are opportunities for everybody to learn from everyone else. Even if you are somebody who's been doing it for years and years and years, the way you've been doing it isn't necessarily the best way you could do it, and might need to, you could always learn something new from somebody else. So that is great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut into this pre-fabricated, this pre-wired resistor here on a fresh red 0402 SMD. Let me grab my number 11 blade. Take my glasses off because I am blind now that I am old. And very delicately slice this shrink tube open. So that I can see. Oh, of course, it's a blue. Okay. Actually, instead of identifying the resistor on my resistor chart, because that's always fun to identify the resistors, I'm going to desolder this. I'm going to add a little bit of solder because I am not as efficient at soldering as the machines that manufacture these are. I'm going to attach it to the LED that is missing the resistor, and then I'm going to test it on the Arduino. And my fear here is that I've accidentally and this isn't the right one. It's this one over here. It's a problem with working on two at the same time. No. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, I've lost track of what the problem is, where the problem is, because this is the red. This is the red one here, and that's the red one there. Ready for this? Ready for this? I've already connected the positive, right? Which is the one that has the resistor. The one that's empty is the negative. And I got concerned because the negative on the green also has a resistor. And I did that in order to get the intensity of the green LED where I wanted it. So I have not messed up. I just lost track of where I was. So SDM Productions again saying, hello, Andrew. Hello again. Hello again. All right, so I did not mess up. I did not put the wrong LED in. I just lost track of what I had done months ago when I initially installed these LEDs. Okay, crisis averted. I've destroyed an LED for no good reason. That is okay. That's okay. No problem. We're good. I don't know where that LED went. This is, oh, it's right here. But, okay. That goes in the garbage. Perfect. Awesome. Great. Yay! I did. You did. Oh, you did say hello again. Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. So crisis averted. No problem. We will get this wired in. So we're going to do the constant on from the front, the green constant on, and the red constant on, which is not attached to anything here. So how did I do? That's right. I haven't done it over there yet. I haven't done anything on the second one yet. Okay. Just making sure I have everything sorted properly here. All right. Yay, let's do this. So I'm going to disconnect this pin that I was using for testing. This is a nice long one, so I will definitely want to salvage this one. So we'll desolder it here. Just a little touch. There we go. Good. And this is going to be a little bit tricky, how I approach this. What I might do is make use of the length of the lead on that resistor. And because I have to get the wire on, I also have to get the small, fine wires of the other two LEDs on there. And the moment heat touches it, if I put those fine wires on first, then they are going to come off the moment heat touches. So I'm going to make use of the length and solder in two different locations. And hopefully the consolidated lead wire will not come off when I attach it to the resistor. And we'll see if that works. Darren Peter, sorry Andrew, laughing on this side. You reminded me of a similar situation. Yeah, streamer brain, right? I'm talking, I'm keeping track of the stream, I'm doing the work on camera, and the little thing just kind of threw me off there. I'm just glad I figured it out before I did anything too major, trying to fix a problem that wasn't a problem, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to tin the whole thing here. Okay. Oh, I need to do the wire here. Good. Then I'm also going to add the pin that I just removed, if I can find it. Glasses back on would be helpful. Can't see a thing close up right now with my glasses on. I can't see a thing far away with them off. Okay, here's the pin. I'm going to put some solder on the other end of this. Let's see. It's important to remain calm and just work through it. Yeah. Yeah. Work through the problem that never was a problem in the first place. Fortunately, that doesn't happen very often. Again, I don't do... In my videos, I generally don't do work on camera unless I'm doing a demo. I generally show the results of the work I've done off camera because it's so much easier than doing work on camera and filming it. Especially when I didn't have the ability to do an overhead shot. It was a lot more difficult at that point. Now that I can do an overhead shot, I'm just looking for the pin. It sure makes it a lot easier because I'm not working around a camera tripod now. Because I was always, the way I was doing it before, my camera was on the tripod. And camera's on the tripod, and I was kind of trying to just like work around the camera or from the side of the camera. So having overhead camera is so much better. Question for anybody who has been to Wonderfest before. How is the internet connection? And I mean like hotel or event provided Wi-Fi. Is it any good? Would I be able to... Oh, that's going to be hot. would I be able to live stream off of it? I can't live stream off cell phone data because, well, I'm Canadian and I have a Canadian cell phone, and there's complications there when you go across the border. But I would love to know. I got some solder on there. Now it's somewhere on the floor over there. I'd love to know what the connection at the hotel, the whatever it's called. This is not staying in the clip. There we go. The Grand Plaza Hotel. I think that's it. Because I'll be creating content and uploading content, but I'd be curious if the internet is good enough to be able to do live stream stuff. Randy, complicated, lots of money. I'm assuming you're referring to complicated and lots of money using your cell phones in the States. Because yes, it is. Yeah, I've never been before. This is going to be my first year there. And of course, me being me, my first year there, I'm going all in, have a table, so that I can meet people. Hopefully have a model on display. We'll have to see about that, though. That just depends on how much work I can get done on certain projects before Wonderfest comes along. I'm hoping to have a 1400 scale Enterprise E on display. But again, we'll have to see how that goes. There's no way I'm taking one of the big Ds with me. For one, round 2 will be there. I don't want to upset them with displaying a garage kit. And 2, I don't think my clients would be too happy with me traveling around with those because they're not inexpensive kits or inexpensive builds. So 1, keep round 2 happy, and 2, keep my clients happy. All right. I'm gonna drop this, hold this. I need to get these super fine wires on the 0402 SMDs are crazy to work with. I need some sort of tool that will twist these together for me. Essentially, I have to twist them just enough that they won't come apart when I put them on the clip, and then drop a little bit of solder on, and then they're good to go. But I'm not sure if they will attach to the resistor very well there. There we go. Let's see. Crown Plaza is a high-end hotel. Rogers has a Canadian-U.S. ultimate plan. Yeah, I don't go to the States enough to make an adjustment to my plan worth it financially. As far as being able to communicate with my phones, we're going to be using a virtual SIM setup with the phone while we're in the States, so that we can, it basically creates an eSIM and uses a different network down there. And we're going to try using that at just for being able to communicate while down there. But as far as like live streaming and stuff like that, I'd never be able to with my phone down there. All right. This is where I'm going to get my fingers a little too close to the fire. Delicate. Did I do it? Nope. No, I am not happy with that connection. This is where I don't burn myself. Nope. Think I got it. Think I got it. That was challenging. Let's see. Breadboard. And USB. I don't know if this USB cable is going to work because it's currently connected to my docking station for my laptop at my desk, and my laptop is not. Oh, it's going to work. Perfect. It's just stretched a little bit far here. I'm going to tape that down so that it doesn't pull everything off the table. And we're going to just make sure that I didn't damage anything in that delicate solder job there. Okay, so, and I want to test that before I put the shrink tube over top of that mess. Okay, so negative into the negative, and this is why I put those pins on. And where's positive? Positive, positive, and we should have everything working. Assuming I did everything correctly. But you know, I'm doing it on camera. Ha! It all works. Perfect. Can you even see that on camera? green, red, and white. Yay! Okay, perfect. Let's take those out. It's nice to know that everything works. Okay. Just drop that on the floor. I will need that again later, no doubt, to check the other one. Okay. I'm going to shrink tube this, and then I'm going to set this one aside, do the same thing on the other, and then once that's done, I will get all of the wiring epoxied down to the ship so that it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, so I should just be able to use the smallest shrink tube possible. Here. Let's see. I tried to drill out the windows on mine. It did not turn out good. Are you talking about on a 1400 scale Enterprise E? They are tricky. It's also important to get the right size drill bits, and I have a list of those. So if you shoot me a message on Facebook or even just leave a comment on one of the videos or live streams or something like that after the fact, then I can give you the list of drill bit gauge sizes for all of the windows, and having the right size really makes a difference in being able to get these windows done. Yes, 1400 scale Enterprise E. It's tedious. It's very much detail-oriented work, and it's great, which is great if you're a detail-oriented person. If you're not, it could be a nightmare. Okay, so I want to make sure everything is locked down and secure and is not moving anywhere. So this piece here will protect against any shorts or anything like that, but I want to make sure that these smaller fine wires don't have a chance to go anywhere. So I'm going to put the next size up over top just to kind of secure everything in place and just lock those very fine 0402 down. Trey Chester. Oh, the Enterprise E! Yes, we are doing two 1400 scale Enterprise E's right now, along with the other projects that are on the bench. So, but tonight's work is on the Enterprise E. Okay, got that on there. Let's lock it down with some heat. Kind of doing this with my wrong hand. There we go. Nice thing about putting the larger pieces over the small pieces that since the wiring on the some of this is so fine, and the smallest of the small shrink tube doesn't really shrink over it perfectly, then the larger kind of deals with that because it contracts everything down a little bit better. That's the same size as the Diamond Select toy of the E. I wish I could afford one of these kits completed. They're a nice size to have on your shelf. I personally really do like the bigger ones, but I also wouldn't have anywhere to display a bigger one. So I like working on the bigger ones, but I wouldn't be able to display a bigger one. So, all right, so that's the first of these two with all of the wires consolidated as much as I can on the lower section. I will finish off the top another day, and then those will be consolidated down further through this access point here and then run down the post. But number one done. Let's move on to kit number 2. And I'll label those once they get secured down. Oh, I've got a pin just sitting here. I want that. I'll just put it in my tray here so I don't lose it. Let's see. Well, if money was no object, I'd have someone build and light the 650 scale E. And I can't tell what's underneath there. I'm assuming it says not me, lol. Oh, scale for me. Maybe? There's some emote things that are in the way that make it hard to read some of those comments. If anybody's curious, give me one moment here, and I will grab, for your entertainment, the saucer section. Well, let me just grab it and show you before I tell you what it is. Just have to get it off the shelf. All right. So we have the 1400 scale here, right? Give me one moment, and I will, just so I can see what I'm doing here. 1400 scale, yeah, nice size. But then you bring in the 650 scale saucer. And that is, just try to get it all in the frame here. That's considerably bigger. So this is the redo of the original Sovereign replicas, and this is an opaque version of the kit. I want to get my hands on a clear kit to actually build, because lighting the opaque kit would be a nightmare. And I'm not sure I want to do that. But that kit came available, and I grabbed it before I knew that they were more readily available. So that just sits on my shelf until one day when I get a chance to do something with it. Let's see. Okay, now I can see. If money was no object, I'd have someone build and light the 650 scale E for me. Yeah, they are nice. Any of them really are nice, and lighted is definitely the way to go on any of these kits. SDM Productions, I got to go get dinner. Have a great night. Well, have a great night, and thank you for joining. I apologize. I'm probably going to brutalize this, but Yavang. I'm getting the 640 scale Enterprise D from Helios. When are you starting that one? The 650. Yeah. Now I will just say it is. Oh, are we buffering here? Just gonna give it a moment. Might have just been that I clicked on something and it looked like it was buffering, and it's not actually buffering. I'm just gonna wait to see if the play of the live stream here, because there's a little bit of a delay. Nope. Looks like we're all good. All right, so the 650 scale Helios, based on my measurements, it looks like it's actually closer to 697 scale, just based on the measurements of, no buffering here, perfect. Okay, even though your little image there looks like a buffering circle. So it's based on my measurements of the saucer, because I'm working with motion picture miniatures, to have a masking set made for all the Aztecs for it. It looks like it's closer to 1697 scale, but still a really nice size. It's sitting over on the bench there, and I am going to be starting to work on it very soon. I'm still missing the metal piece from Helios that's coming with decal sheets, but I don't know when that's arriving. So I can't do any work on the secondary hull because I need to know how that piece works for the armature, but I'm going to be doing some work on the saucer section, getting the windows cleaned up, and getting the phaser array modifications I need to make done. And so I will have videos of that coming out in the next little while. I can't guarantee when that's going to happen, but will be sooner rather than later, because my client would love to have it in their possession completed, and I would like to be able to get that to them in a timely fashion. So, all right. Okay, we are doing the same thing. So we'll get the red positive, which has the resistor on it. The green positive, which has the resistor on it. And the white positive, which I need to fix the resistor because it's not been shrink tubed. All right. So rinse and repeat. We're going to release this from the resistor, just like that. And I am going to grab the small size shrink tube. Is this the small? No, I always doubt that I've got the right size. And I don't think I have the right one here. Yeah, no, that's the next size up. They're so close in size, it's hard to tell. But these wires are so thin that you want to make sure that you've got the right size. Okay, so I'm going to cut a piece about that big. It's going to go on the wire. I'm going to add a little bit of clean, fresh solder, just so it doesn't give me any trouble, where there won't be any trouble at all. Reconnect. Okay, bring this up. I like to try to push it onto the resistor if I can. Now I grab the slightly larger, the one I thought was the one I needed before. Put it over here. Get it over the other shrink tube if I can. Actually, I'm going to do this in 2 steps because that'll shrink down a little bit with the heat gun. And I'll be able to get that other piece over top a little bit easier. I haven't been able to work on models since 2000, so I would have to commission someone. If I was able to, I would have an E built with the first contact paint scheme and the extra parts from Nemesis. Okay, so so build it like a Nemesis and paint it like a first contact. One of the tricky things with the paint schemes for first contact, which is personally my preference, is that it's difficult to get an accurate representation of the colorings because it looks darker on screen, and the only really good pictures of the studio model we have are in the hot California sun, so they are washed out a little bit. But this is the one I did. Let me just turn my face cam off there for a moment. This is the one I did last time, and it was painted roughly to the first contact studio model, with a few modifications based on the requests of the client. And it was, everybody told me you don't paint the Aztecs on this. Everybody said you have to use the decals, you can't paint it. And I did not accept that, and so I painted it all, masked it all off by hand, and was really happy with the way that it turned out. So yeah, on these ones I've got the benefit of having mask design masks for it, which is a luxury I did not have on the last one. So thank you. That's very kind. The paint process on that took a very long time because it was all little tiny bits of masking of blue painter's tape that was cut up and applied individually to get it to look right. So I'm excited to try out the Mask Design masking set on these kits because if it works as well as it looks like it will, then it will save a ton of time. All right. Get this cooled off. Get it back in place. Okay. One of the reasons why I'm really excited to be working on the big Enterprise D is because I've kind of been, you know how actors can be typecast in a specific kind of role. I don't want to be typecast as being the Enterprise E guy necessarily, because I'm working on 2 at the moment, and then I'm doing another one that I'm hoping to be done in time to bring to Wonderfest. But that one's already spoken for. So it'll go to Wonderfest and then it's spoken for. So I don't want to just be building Enterprise E's for the next 30 years, 20 years, 30 years. However long I can do this for. All right. There we go. Physical join. We'll get some solder on that, and then we'll get a main lead connected. Let's see what the chat's saying. Does Lou at Aztec Dummy have masks for this E? No, he doesn't, and he's one of the ones that said you just have to use the decals, because I was trying to see if he would do a masking set for it. He has a hard time printing the Aztecs at that small size, so he just does not do that. Gorgeous painting, Andrew. Can you tell us who we could contact if we needed custom masks for our projects? So for the Enterprise E, if you want the Aztec masking, so disclaimer, that one was done by hand. This one, this one was done by hand. And by hand, I mean I cut up the blue painter's tape very thin and placed the individual pieces to do the Aztec masking. So it was all masked by hand with blue painter's tape. It wasn't a masking set. But since I did this one, Mask Design, you can find them on Facebook, and they have done up a full masking set, which I'm going to be using on these 2 kits. Should save a whole ton of time. So as far as the 1400 scale Enterprise E, Mask Design is where you want to go. It's the only place that you can get an Aztec masking set for this, and I'm going to be reviewing it on these as soon as I get these closed up, puttied, and primed. Then I'm going to be working on that. I'm really looking forward to getting to the painting scheme on these. Let's see. Yeah. All right. Let's get a main lead wire here. And my wire is all... Something weird happened to the spool. Okay, let's get a decent length here. And if you're looking for the 650 scale or the 1400 scale Enterprise D, motion picture miniatures is where you want to go for masking for that. So he already has the Aztec masking for the 1400 scale Enterprise D, and he's got that available in either the 2-color or the 4-color paint scheme. So that's where you want to go if you want to get your hands on 1400 scale Enterprise D masking. And he is currently working on the masking set for the Helio 650 scale Enterprise D. And I've got vinyl down on on both the top and saucer section from the last round of test fits he sent me the files for to cut and test out. So we're just gradually working on getting everything sized up for that different size model. And it's not just a straight upsize, downsize, whatever, because each model is modeled, slightly differently. Because unless you're motion picture miniatures, you don't have access to the original molds. So you're doing everything based off of photos and measurements and whatever you can get your hands on. So there's always shape differences. Even with these commercial kits, so the 1400 scale E, it's too narrow compared to the studio model. Everything is too narrow. It should be wider for how long it is. And so when you're doing the paint on it, you have to make all those adjustments. So when I did the other one there, the triangular sections on top, that go out from either side of the bridge and back, I had to take some creative license with the design there because the design on the studio model just simply does not fit. I feel like my one camera has lost connection, so let me go to face cam here and let me restart the other camera. Interesting. I'm going to close a few things that I have open. It's just being a pain. All right, let's see if I can do this now. I seem to have lost my my top-down camera. I'm going to try something, and oh, I've got me over top of me. I don't need that. Okay, let me just check the chat here, see what's going on. Thanks for the Trek masks. Was wondering more about paying for custom masks for non-Trek related projects that they would be to do. Well, you can contact Mass Design to see if they would do any custom work for you. Motion Picture Miniatures, I don't know if he would do any custom work, but those would be the two that I would probably talk to about custom work on stuff that they don't already have. Different power from the main deflector dish to the overhead camera. Yeah, that could have to be a thing. We'll see. Yeah, so that would be my best suggestion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart my streaming software and see if that helps. And the problem is if I don't do it fast enough, we may lose the stream. So hold tight. Hopefully this works, and if not, then it'll be a little bit of an early end to the stream. So bear with me for a moment. If it doesn't come back, it'll just have to be the end of the stream. So one moment, please. Whew! I think it worked. I think we're okay. Overhead camera is back. Let me know if you see what I see, which is overhead camera. My hand is on the mouse. Moving the mouse so that you can see what I'm doing here. So if you can see my stream, say something. Overhead back. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Sometimes if you're really quick, you won't lose. No, that's not what I want. I couldn't re-add it because I was trying to re-add the camera that was already going. Okay, stream brain. Okay. Let's see here. Let's move my face cam up. And there we go. We are back in operation. Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Problem averted. Okay. All right. Yes, perfect. Okay. So what was I doing? Right. I was getting the main wire on the 3 there. The other option you could do as far as the masks is get yourself a Cameo. Actually, they might have Cameo 5s out now, but I've got a Cameo 4 cutting machine, and it comes with the Silhouette Studio software. And depending on the intricateness of what you need mask-wise, you can design and cut your own masks. So if it's simple, easy shapes, like when I'm looking at window masks, I generally just make my own window masks because they're super simple and easy to make because they're just rectangles, basically, right? Then I just do that myself and cut them myself. But if you are looking to need more intricate work, then you might need to have somebody who's proficient at doing that type of thing do it for you. There's definitely a huge benefit. Don't mind me, I'm looking for the metal pin. There it is. There's a huge benefit to being able to have your own vinyl cutter in your workspace, because you can just quickly, once you learn the basics of the software that just comes with it, then you can do a good chunk of stuff that on your own that you need to do. I want to attach this wire to this pin. Certainly come in handy working with motion picture miniatures on the masking set, having the cutter here, because then they just have to send me the file for cutting, and then I can cut it here in the shop, put it on, send pictures with measurements back for any adjustments that need to be done. So it makes it nice and easy there. I just wish my desire for a completed model of the E matched the size of my wallet. Yeah. Captain Shalamang models. Hey Andrew, do you have any plans for the Enterprise B in the future? I would love to do a B. So hopefully somebody commissions me to do a B, because right now the only work I can do from a time perspective is stuff that is commissioned. But there is potential for a good-sized enterprise, for a 650 scale enterprise D. That's the one I've already got. A 650 scale enterprise B to be available in the future. And that would be a nice size kit, I think. Because what size is the round 2 kit? I don't have the B in the shop, but I do have the Excelsior, and it's 1000 scale. So having something a bit bigger than that would be very nice to have. Nice thing about a stash of models is if you have a question about one, you can just pull it off the shelf and have a look. Have you ever used any of the diorama inserts on your models, like the shuttle bay? If so, are they difficult to work with? I have not used any pre-made stuff. On the last Enterprise E I did. I made a shuttle bay from scratch. I scratch-built a shuttle bay. But ultimately, I mean, it was a fun experiment to do. It's kind of a cool feature, but on that size, it's not really worth it for what you see through the shuttle bay door. So I'm not too eager to do that again. But anything on some larger scale ships, it would be nice to do. I do have somebody who has designed a bridge and conference lounge piece to go into the 650 scale Enterprise D, because there's some nice sized windows there, and might be nice to be able to see what's going on in there. So I've got, I'm going to order that because you can get it off of Shapeways. It is Spaceways, which is on Shapeways. So if you look for Spaceways on the Shapeways website, you'll be able to find a ton of good stuff. That's where I get the deflector housing piece. That's more accurate to go into the Enterprise E's on the 1400 scale. So I will be ordering, I haven't ordered it yet, but I will be ordering that from Shapeways for the 2 Enterprise D's in 650 scale. Yeah, 650 scale Enterprise B would be pretty cool. Keep in mind, though, that's still not that big. When the Enterprise D I'm doing is in 650, and that's big. The Excelsior and Enterprise B are smaller ships, so smaller than 350. Like if you look at the refit 350, that would be a little bit smaller than what the Enterprise B would be in 350. So that just gives you a bit of a sizing kind of an idea there. All right, glasses off because I'm getting old. Solder on. That I just put the solder in where my iron goes. That was smart. And because I took my glasses off, I can't see the wire I need to connect. There it is. I need to get probably bifocals or progressives or something, so that I'm not taking my glasses on and off all the time while doing this work. My eyes were perfectly fine for close-up work with my glasses on, because my glasses are for distance, until I went for my last eye exam, because I needed to get a new normal prescription. And ever since my eye exam, and they put the drops in, my up-close vision just has not been right. So I'm going to have to go back, and I just got these new glasses in the summer. So I'm just not excited about having to replace them quite so quickly. But I'm going to have to replace them with either get glasses for close-up and swap, or get the progressives or bifocals or something like that. Thanks for the tip. No problem. All right, gonna shrink the small tube down here, and then we'll put the larger piece over top to lock everything in place. Again, I pinch this down with my fingers because the tube is really, the smallest shrink tube I can get is a little bit too big for the 30 gauge wire. So I just pinch it and it kind of seals it over top. All right, and I think this is the size I used before for 3. Yeah, it's 3. Cut a piece off. I sounded excited about the B because the 18-inch long model is all we've ever had, and anything bigger is welcome, definitely. And I am certainly a fan of larger size models. Again, I don't have anywhere to display them, but I do enjoy working on the larger scale. Mostly because there's just so much more you can do with them. There's just things you can do with the larger models that you just simply... I'm not going to say you can't do with the smaller kits, because the moment I say you can't do it, somebody's going to take that as a challenge. But it just makes it easier on the larger ships. If you could choose a ship from Picard that'd be great to see as a model, which one would you like a kit of, sir? That's a good question. I mean, we've got the Horner models, Enterprise G/Titan. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the Picard era designs. I mean, then again, a lot of the show they were presented to us in such a dark way, like lighting wise, very dark, that it's really hard to tell. Probably, I would probably like to see a model of the, I can't remember what the class is, but it's the revamped Stargazer, the Fornacell revamped Stargazer. That's probably the one I would want to see, but I'd have to look. I mean, a nice size kit of the Steam Runner that we saw in Season 2 would be nice. Don't tell me my overhead camera has stopped again. Oh. No, maybe I just wasn't moving. Okay. We're good. We're good. Okay. Let's see. Trey, I don't accept any of the new Trek designs, not even the Enterprise D they tried to present. I hated the show, even Season 3. I certainly enjoyed Season 3 the most. And, I mean, anytime you reproduce a ship on screen that was previously done, there's going to be issues like the TOS Enterprise in Trials and Tribulations wasn't accurate, but it was nice to see. I thought the bridge was very well done. And at first I thought, well, why does it not look the way it looked like in Generations? Because that would have made more sense to me, that the bridge would be as we last saw it, not the way it showed up in the TV series. Then I got to thinking, well, it's a personal restoration project of Geordi, and Geordi probably, I mean, the bridge was trashed in Generations. He probably restored it to the way he preferred it, which is probably the way he experienced it for the 7 years on the show, right? So that's how I kind of reconcile that in my head, that the bridge wasn't the same as what we saw in Generations. But season 1, season 2, they were all right, not my favorite. I did prefer season 3. Again, there's some things that they're doing that I would probably do differently, but I am not the showrunner, so that is not my place to say. Okay, positive, done. Perfect. Let's do the negative side of things. Because there's a positive and a negative to most things, including every TV show. Positive things that they do and negative things that they do. And even if I don't like the direction that they're going generally with the show, there are usually things that I can appreciate about it. So, okay, let's get the negative side going. Want to take this pin off. You think the USS Nog would be a cool? I mean, it's an interesting ship design. It doesn't scream Federation to me, but I mean, it's also way off in the future. So, I'm not the biggest fan of the Discovery ships. I find the some of the technology in the future ships in the show a little bit weird, like how they don't connect. The TARDIS nature of Discovery on the inside, where it's bigger on the inside, seems odd to me. But I wouldn't mind building a large version of a Crossfield class ship at some point. I think there's some really cool stuff that you could do with that. I think it'd be cool to try to see if you could get one that's big enough that you could get the actual saucer to rotate. But again, I'm not a huge fan of the design language of the Discovery era ships or the Picard era ships. Ultimately, one of my favorite ships, design-wise, I mean, I really like the Enterprise E, but one of my favorite ships is actually the Akira class. And I've got a soft spot for many of the ships where the nacelles go under. So one of my favorite ships growing up, when The Next Generation was on TV, it's because I was a kid when The Next Generation was on TV. So one of my favorite designs at the time, it's not one of my favorite designs now, because there's some stuff I like better, but the Nebula class was one of my favorite designs, and I think it's that I just have a thing for the underslung nacelles. And that was the first one I saw that had the nacelles underneath. And so the Akira class is one of my favorite designs in Star Trek. And I think it's interesting that the NX class was designed based off of that Akira class. I don't like it as much flipped upside down. I like the nacelles going underneath. Floating nacelles would be problematic for a model. Well, yeah, I've thought about that, how you would handle that. And floating nacelles are also stupid. Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I look at the ships from, why don't make them so that modelers could actually build them? And having pieces like that are all separate does not lend itself to us being able to make models of the ship. So that's something that I would look at. But, I mean, again, I'm not designing those ships. I have my preferences, and I like the Akira class. I also really like the Luna class, so the Titan that Riker had. And I think it was interesting that that was a fan-made ship for the book covers that made it into canon. I mean, there's the whole Titan refit thing that didn't make any sense, but there's been some stuff done offline that indicate that it's the computer core and stuff like that that was quickly reused on a new design ship from Riker's Titan, which would explain why there was the whole purging the database kind of a deal. So lots of interesting things, and something that the fan base really loves to do is to debate all that stuff. So I have my likes and my dislikes, but I generally watch all of the Trek, whether it's my favorite or not. It's just becoming harder and harder to watch it because it's not on CTV Sci-Fi anymore here. Okay, I need to bring this closer. Hold that there so I don't mix up which of those LEDs is supposed to be attached to that resistor. I need to add some fresh solder onto this resistor. I would love a nice-sized, lightable Luna class model kit. I would love to have one of those. Because again, that's, to me, that's in the same ballpark as the Akira. This is not reattaching well. I think we were robbed of getting a season with the, I'm assuming you mean the NX refit. Yeah, there was talk that they were going to do that in season 5. But it's now canon because it was present in the Fleet Museum in Picard season 3. The refit NX was present there with its secondary hull. So that was kind of cool. Little Easter egg in there. The Defiant is one of my favorites. I also like the nacelles close to the ship. Yeah, I did like the Defiant. I think I like some of the alternate designs a little bit better, but it's interesting that one of the alternate designs for the Defiant ultimately turned into the Nova class, which I also like. I like the small nature of that ship. I mean, I don't like it as much as I used to, but I really do like that. And again, I would like a nice-sized kit of the Nova class. The garage kit that I have for the Nova, or that I made for the Nova, is kind of a problematic kit, and it's quite small, but it's a bit of a problematic kit from a number of points. At least the copy that I got of it, I actually had to recast the whole bottom hull section of the Nova class model because it was badly warped. And I was trying to reform it, and it, instead of because it was so thick, it didn't reshape for me. It cracked, and so what I ended up doing was I glued it back together, and then I took a mold of it, and I recast it here in the shop, and then I pulled it from the mold, and while it was still pliable, while the resin was still pliable coming out from the mold, I de-warped it while it was still pliable, because otherwise it just simply would not reshape. So I ended up recasting that, and while I was at it, I just did the whole thing as a learning endeavor for me. So I still have the original. I still have the original Nova kit here, but as you can see, the bottom. Let me switch screens here so I can see what I'm showing you. You might be able to see the warp in that. If I can get a flat surface of some sort to show you. I don't have anything. The box might work. You might be able to see just how warped that is. But, oh, yeah. Check how warped that side is there, how far down from the box it's sitting. And because it was so thick, and it had clearly been cast quite a long time ago, it just snapped. And so I glued it back together and recast the whole thing there. All right, I've got the resistor redone there. And, oh, right. I'm going to have to fiddle with these annoyingly small wires again. Okay, so I'm going to tin up that resistor as I did before the entire way. And the solder seems to be flowing a little bit better now, which is nice. All right, I'm going to get my wire. Let's see. Let's see. Trey. Unfortunately, the true Star Trek ended in 2005, and nobody has been able to recover it. It will take a very long time to undo what Kurtzman has done. Yeah, there's a lot of that sentiment out there. The new stuff isn't, like I said, it's not my favorite. I'm hoping that we get something really, really good in the next little bit. But you know, if you can't align yourself with the original DNA direction of the show, then it becomes very difficult to onboard the original fans of the show. And so I understand the issues that have gone on there. Personally, I think that they should have had people like the Okudas involved right from the time that they brought Trek back onto TV, and I think that we would have had some more, what's the word I'm looking for, consistency with the Trek universe. But what did Kirk say? Now, Scotty, young minds, fresh ideas, something like that. Okay, all right. There we go. Now the hard part. The incredibly fine wires that are with the 0402 SMDs. Some Defiant stuff here. Trey Defiant is a top-notch little ship. It would be great to get a large-scale model of it out. Well, the original model kit for the Defiant was a good size. Unfortunately, it's, from what I understand, the tooling was damaged or destroyed on that. So not very likely to get that kit back out anytime soon. The kits that have come out since the Polar Lights kit, I think is a little bit small, but the large kit is nice. It is also just a... Oh! Tell me I did not damage the ship there, dropping the solder iron. Don't mind me while I become super quiet. That's a first for me. Let's see, where did it land? A little bit of damage on the mat, but let me double check the ship here. I think I got off unscathed on the ship. Very, very fortunate there. All right. Let's see. The Defiant was my first model with lighting. Had lots of fun with that kit. Still my favorite model, but I think the Helios D is going to dethrone it. The Helios D is beautifully designed. There are a few issues though, getting the nacelles attached to the pylons is going to be troublesome to get it aligned properly because there's no alignment pins on it of any sort. Defiant also reminds me of the Lambda class Imperial shuttle without the wings, of course. Let's see. Oh yeah, I can see it. I thought Bandai made a Defiant kit. I'm not really up on any of the Bandai stuff. I'm not really interested either because it's all pre-painted. That will buff right out. Yeah. I'm just glad that didn't land on, well, it didn't do anything to the ship. All right, back to trying to get these silly fine wires dealt with. I wonder. I'm going to try something. It may not work. It may work. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I haven't really lost anything. I'm going to try adding these individually. Again, I don't... if I had to guess, I'm going to say this isn't going to work. But if it does, it's going to save me a whole ton of hassle here. Okay, so got some fresh solder on that. That might have worked. Just adding each one individually. My concern is that it pops off the moment I put the heat on to get the other one on, if that makes any sense. Let me get caught up on the chat here. Let's see, Captain Shalamang First ever kit I lighted was the 1000 scale Excelsior from AMT. Now I am thinking if I should do so with my Kelvinverse USS Hood that I'm going to do using the Rebel one, the 500 Enterprise. Yeah. Honestly, light every Starship. Light every Starship. Attempt to light every Starship. They just look so great when they're lighted. Yvang, I'm hoping to watch you build the D before I do mine, so I can see all of the issues and how you tackle them. Yeah, it's going to be interesting building without ever having seen anybody else build it. Let's see, because there's no other build series out there, and Lou's going to do one too. I'm not sure he's going to start it until he has absolutely everything, and I know that we don't have all the parts yet. So I'm not sure when he's going to start building his. I'll probably start mine first, but he'll probably finish before I finish. So there'll be the two going on at the same time, most likely. I'm hoping to, let's see, a quick Google search didn't, sorry, I can't really, I've got something in the way here. Okay, a quick Google search didn't reveal a Bandai kit, Defiant kit. Yeah. Again, I know nothing. I know nothing about the Bandai kits, mostly because I'm just not interested in them because they're pre-painted. And paint is one of my favorite parts of doing the models, especially something like the E. Solder issues again. There we go, that's better. Okay, I think I've got them attached. So now before I take this off, and before I add the shrink tube over it to protect it all, I'm going to do a test of those LEDs. And I also like to, just in case, you know, I kept the solder iron on a little bit too long and destroyed an LED or something like that. So, all right. So I'm going to move this way. Oh! I got to move the helping hands too. Bring in the breadboard. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I need my USB cable. Don't really know how much of this you can see, if it's all in frame here. I think it is. Tape that down so it doesn't pull anything off the table. Now we are looking at this wire here for the negative. Oh, I did not put a pin on this one yet. Okay, we're going to have to do that quick, because I'm not going to get that in the breadboard without a pin on it. How would you rate all the Enterprise starships from most favorite to least? Ooh. How would you rate all the Enterprise starships from your most favorite to your least favorite? That is a tricky question. I'm going to start with the E as my favorite. Then I'm going to go, this could be a little controversial. I'll go C, then D, then A, then NX, then B, then toss, then F, then G. If I had to do it quickly off the top of my head, that's what I will say. But that could possibly be different if I gave it more than 5 seconds worth of thought. Okay. This wire here. There we go. Okay, we have a pin on it. Good. All right, I'm going to turn the solder off because hopefully that's the last of the soldering I'm going to need until I realize I've forgotten something and I have to turn it back on and wait for it to heat up. Okay. Now, where is the positive here? Where did that go? Okay, that's back here. There we go. And everything's working. Perfect. That's what we need. That's all we needed to know, that everything was working. I can unplug this. Back over here. Let's see. Chat. Thought I didn't like it. Ludum also did a hell of a job building the G. Yeah. I think it's rated lower because I haven't had a chance to really live with it for very long. I think as a ship design, I think it's very cool. I think that Bill Krause did an amazing job on it as a ship design. And I think he has a very interesting design language that he likes to use. And it's very much a Bill Krause ship. But my issue with it as far as being an Enterprise goes is that I just don't think it fits that era. It's because it's very much in line with the era that Bill Krause likes to work in, and I just don't see it as the post Next Generation Voyager into that Picard era styling. So that's probably why I rank it lower on my Enterprise lists. So it's got nothing to do with the design of the ship. I'm not sure that it fits in that kind of genre, in that place. So I like the ship design. I just think it fits in a different era, if that makes sense. Trey, I just don't think nacelle should have large plate windows. Yeah, there were some windows in it, wasn't there? Again, I haven't lived with it long enough and really looked at it close enough to really know a lot. I mean, I watched Lou's builds, and I thought like I'd love to build the kit. I'd love to build the larger size version because again, I think it's a cool ship. I probably wouldn't name one I built. If I was building it for myself, I probably wouldn't name it Enterprise G. I'd choose a different name because in my head it probably fits in a different time frame a little bit better. But that's just me and my opinions, my thoughts. I think it's going to be cool to build the Cerritos at some point. That's a ship design that's grown on me since I first saw it. I thought it was horribly ugly. when I first saw the Cerritos, and I don't think it's as ugly anymore. And I wouldn't mind building it. But again, I don't have time to build anything for myself. So unless somebody commissions something, I probably won't get to it for a very long time. Let's see. Personally, I would have taken the Excelsior 2 and made an Enterprise, but that's my bias, as I think they should have left the Titan as Titan. Yeah, I mean, there is some precedent for it. The Enterprise A was Yorktown before it was the Enterprise A, and so it was already an old, pre-existing ship, and probably had pre-existing missions and stuff like that, and then they renamed it as the Enterprise. So, I mean, there's pre-existing precedent for it. All right, so that is all of the wiring on the lower saucer, consolidated down to main leads. And so what my next job on this is going to be is securing all that down to the ship and getting the wiring going down the back end. But it is almost midnight, and I have a busy day tomorrow, so I am not going to be doing that tonight. So I'm going to call an end to the stream after I catch up on the chat. There was a time that I was going to build a B model and name it the USS Skywalker. Oh, that's kind of cool. That would be cool. All right, I'm going to call it at that for tonight. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for participating in the chat. That's actually one of the things I enjoy the most about doing this on camera. Honestly, the work would go a lot faster if I did it off camera, but I enjoy the interaction. So thank you for joining me. And I will be having some sort of video episode out in the next little bit about these. So stay tuned to the channel for that. And very soon, I think we're going to break that 2,000 subscriber mark, which I am also excited about. It'll be cool to see the counter go up to 2,000. Anyway, that's going to be it for me tonight. Have a great night. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you again next Saturday, 9:30 Eastern Time. Have a great night.